back with another video, and this science experiment is another one that is going to be pretty fun. I hope you like it too. So what you're going to need is 4 cups. We're going to be, I guess I should tell you what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about the density of water and how hot water or warm water, it just kind of hangs out on the surface, and cold water, it's denser, and so of course it's going to creep down to the bottom. So that's what we're going to look at today. But we're going to use some colors to kind of give a visualization of that density. And I know that we've done this in the past with some other experiments, but this is, I don't know, it's just a really different way and an unusual way to do it, and I just thought it'd be fun for us to try. So you're going to need some cups. You're also going to need some cold water. I put some ice in here. And you're going to need some warm water, not boiling hot, just warm water, just like from the tap is fine. And some blue and red food coloring. And I also have a plastic piece of plastic. This is just cut from like the top of a takeout container. So you can have your grown up maybe get that for you. And something to work on. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to look at density and the way that water travels. So I have my cold water here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of blue food coloring into my cold water so we know that it's blue. And then I'm going to take my hot water and pour it into this cup. And you want it to go all the way to the top. As much as you can, get all the way to the top. There we go. And like in our last experiment that we're doing, this is one of those ones that you have to commit to. So what I'm going to do is put it on top of my cold water, and then I am going to place it on top of the hot, because the cold water is going to want to travel down to the bottom. So hopefully we will see that happening. I have to commit to this, guys. Wish me luck. I should have put something to catch everything if I made a mess, which looks like I'm going to. Slide it on top. And you want to make sure the rims of the glasses line up. See how the cold water is traveling down?
It's gone.
Isn't that cool? So that got me thinking, okay, well, what about if you do the opposite? So I'm going to set this aside over here, hopefully without spilling it. And I'm going to take my hot water. Fill it all the way to the top, and I'm going to make it so that the hot water is going to be the top part of the experiment now. Put a little bit of red in there, and then this will be our cold water, which will be on the bottom, and that's where the cold water wants to live, is on the bottom. So theoretically our blue water should stay on the bottom, and our red water should stay on top. We'll see if that happens. I'll wipe this off just a little bit. So this is the denser water, and the hot water is less dense, so I'm going to put that on top, and we'll see what happens. Okay, hold your breath. See if I can do this. Slide that on top. Make sure the rim meets. And there you go. So you have your red water here, and then you have your blue water here. So now they're staying separate. And eventually, of course, they are going to mix because the temperatures, they're going to reach an equilibrium, and so you will end up with the same color of water. But for now, we have the different water levels. We have the red and we have the blue, which is the cold, and you can feel it, and this is the warm. And this is a very messy, but a really easy way for you to see that whole different layers of the density with the warm and the cold, and just with some food coloring, some water, and some plastic cups, and you can just do this very quickly at home. So I hope you like this experiment. I had fun doing it with you, and I am going to once again try to get some of this food coloring off my hands, and I will meet you right back here, and I have a fun craft for us to do, so sit tight. Alright, my friends, I'm back, and I managed to get even more food coloring on my hands that I managed to take off, but that's okay because it looks like I'm going to be getting even messier because we're going to be using some watercolor paints. So what you're going to need for this craft today is some cardstock. This is just some recycled cardstock that I have on hand, but you do want some paper that's a little bit firmer because you're going to be working with watercolor, and of course it's damp and it's going to make your paper kind of bend if you use like notebook paper or something like that. You're going to need some water to rinse your brush off in, some watercolor, some glue, some salt, and a tray. That way you can shake off the excess salt. Some of you might have tried this craft before. It's super fun, so I hope you don't mind repeating it. And let's get started. So what you're going to do, I have two papers here. Let me get just one paper. So you're going to take your paper and you're going to just take your glue, and you can use the bottle of the glue if you want to. That's a lot easier. I just had this left over for some other projects that I was using, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it straight out of my glass that I have right here, a cup. So you're just going to make a design. You can make a picture, maybe a horse or some trees, some flowers, whatever you would like to do. I'm just going to make some squiggle lines, just kind of do an abstract kind of drawing right now. And I'm going to go in with my glue and just kind of go all over the place and make a lot of squiggly lines and maybe some dots, some curlicues, and just have fun with that. Just be creative. There's no right or wrong way to do this. All right, that looks like a good start. I'm happy with that. So the next step is I have my glue base down, so now I'm going to take my salt. And I'm going to pour it all over the glue, which is very, very sticky, so it is of course going to make the salt adhere to it, and you want to use a good amount of salt. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle all over that glue until it gets all covered. There we go. And you can tell when it's covered because the glue is no longer shiny. I'm going to move this aside and shake off some of this excess salt. There we go. So it looks something like that. There is my creation. So now what I'm going to do, and this is a really, really fun part, guys. What you can do is you can let the glue and the salt just kind of set for a while, like maybe even overnight if you want to, but I'm very impatient and I want to see the magic happen now. So I'm going to head ahead and get my brush wet. And I think the color that I'm going to choose first is purple. And you don't need a lot of this. It's just a little bit of the water, because what you're going to see, if you can see this, I'm going to hold it up a little bit so hopefully you can see, is you're going to see that the salt starts taking all of those colors. Isn't that fun and just so magical? I love that. And you just keep doing that with all of the colors that you want. Just tap, tap, tapping it onto the salt, and it travels down. Let's use, how about some red? That would be a fun color. Isn't that pretty? I just really like this. It's just a fun way to paint. And And then after you have completed your picture and you're happy with it, just set it aside and let it dry. Now the thing about this is that it does not, because of the salt and the glue, it's extremely fragile. So if you do want to keep it, ooh, that was a really pretty one. If you do want to keep it, you're going to have to be very careful with it because it is very fragile. Let me see if I can get one of those larger ones so you can see. Let's do the blue. It's a pretty color. So right here. Isn't that pretty? It's so fun and so pretty to do. And it just travels all over the place. So there you go, guys. That is our craft for the day. And you just have fun with this and make as many pictures as you want to. And just be creative as you want to. Like I said, you can make designs, you can make actual pictures of actual objects, maybe some flowers, or just random designs like this. And it's super fun when it's all done, just to kind of look and see what your artwork looks like. And I'm going to finish up my painting here, and then of course get cleaned up, and I will see you guys in our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.